everyone. Today we want to share something that happened recently and that actually is very meaningful and close to our hearts. Is the recent mission trip to Austria. This trip came about. God really providentially opened the doors. I worked there in a mission school, southern part of Austria, TGM, country life, for almost 3 years after I graduated and from my health ministry bachelor's. And it was such a beautiful experience. So I had friends, connections, but for many different reasons, it just didn't work for me to go back. And just last year, they contacted us and we were praying and thinking to go and share some of the wonderful practical things we've learned in this past years together individually. And so they were like, can you come? Can you come for like a longer time? And we were like, the longest we could go at this point is 4 weeks.
A month.
Yes, like a month. So they were like, we'll take it. And so at that point, we had to do something very important, and it was process a visa. And how was that? Because they were kind of like, whoa, actually, we don't know if that would be approved.
Yeah, apparently someone that applied to go there to work or actually to go and visit and also to teach few classes, they got their visa declined and they were worried that that might happen to me as well. But God, in His own providential leading, made everything work out. In fact, as soon as I applied it, in 5 days, they approved the visa and everything was set. So we were able to go. And I was even more excited because this was the first time for me to step my foot in Europe. So I was excited and also thrilled to see how God was going to lead the rest of the trip.
And I was super thrilled to bring him with me now as my husband and be able to share together as a team with the school that truly focuses on training missionaries for 1 year to go to their countries. And many other little schools and wellness centers have opened up in different parts of the world because of that little missionary training school. So we were like, if God leads us there, it's like planting seeds to be multiplied and spread so the work can go so much further. So we want to share a little bit of what we did as God opened all the doors and clearly align everything so we could go.
Yes, and absolutely. For us also, as a couple, this is the first time we are going on a mission trip. We've done a lot of mission work in the US itself, but this is the first time outside of US, and it was a huge blessing for us. So we went for 4 weeks, right, for a month. So the first 2 weeks, we taught in the school for the students. 1 week we taught about nutrition. The second week we taught about relationships. And then the last 2 weeks, it was for a program that they have, a wellness program. It is called New Start program. And that New Start program this time, or we suggested that we will do mental fitness. We'll share a little bit more as we go about this video. And during nutrition, we taught basics of nutrition because it was more like a 1 week program. You cannot talk a whole lot of details about nutrition. But our goal was to give more practical things, not some things that they can just go to ChatGPT and get information.
Or just from a training theory, we can learn from many books and many classes. But one of the main questions we get asked all the time, and we need it for our own journey, is a menu for a week or two. What is a balanced menu? Or how to have a balanced diet? Or how to help someone with their wellness habits. So we were like, what are, in a nutshell, the main things that are practical that we wish we learned sooner? And that's what we prepare the curriculum for that 1 week.
The next one that we also focused on was a balanced menu, as Debbie was sharing. What type of foods should go on a regular basis, or the basics of the food: fruits, vegetables, nuts, and grains.
Another thing we covered was a health partner. So basically, how can you be a partner for someone that is trying to reach their wellness goals instead of just being like, oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, me too. I have that issue. How can you motivate, encourage, be an accountability partner if that's what the person would like? And how can you motivate someone in that journey? So actually, as I worked before with another health coach that was working with a church, I had some experiences and material that I've learned through the years in this field. And I shared with them, you could actually use a health survey to help get people that are interested in having support like a health partner. So basically principles of health coaching, but if you don't have the certification, you can be a health partner and develop those skills that are good just for humanity, just to relate with people at work, at home. It's just very, very useful. So we share in a nutshell, and guess what? That same week, they were translating the survey into German, and they went out to the community to do outreach and got already contacts that were interested in health and wellness. So it was put into practice right away. And we were like, wow, these people are sponges and truly getting everything possible and putting it into practice. So it was very refreshing to see that everything we did was bearing fruit already.
Absolutely. We really admired how the students and staff were constantly learning and immediately implementing them. Along with those lines, the other thing that we also taught was different cuisines. Different cuisines, Italian, of course, Indian, and South American, Argentinian. We taught all of these things theoretically, but then with practical, we taught Indian cuisine, of course, and then they learned how to make lemon rice, samosas, an exotic salad that I really love Debbie makes. And then there was another thing that lentil soup. Lentil soup. We made it, and then the next week, or we taught it, the next week itself, they implemented it in their menu. So they made this exact menu in their meals.
People were sharing the recipes with family members. Like, we didn't know that in Europe, so many people were thrilled about Indian cooking. We even found an Indian store 30 minutes away, like a legit Indian store.
Yes.
So that was super, super cool. Just to see the openness to different cuisines and flavors. Not everyone, but many people.
And then to top it all off, we did a cooking relay. We had an intention behind it. Cooking relay, they would cook, but there was different process for that. We won't discuss about it right now. But the point is to work as a team. The point is to have quick thinking, presence of mind. And they really did great job with that. I'll just put a small clip in it so you'll have an idea as to how it looked.
Yeah, so really the nutrition week went by like so quickly, so hands-on. They had to develop a 1-week menu as well, like plant-based with
As
good
an assignment.
balanced menu. Yes. And so they did amazing. And we had also the staff members wanting to join to also be like continuing education, get some more tools, ideas to implement later on in their classes in the upcoming years. So that was the first week. Oh, and we forgot to briefly say when we first arrived, we actually got really sick for the first days. But thanks to all the prayers and the support and God's blessing, when we had to start the classes until the end, God gave us full health to even help others that got sick later on in the following weeks. So the second week was on relationships
and marriage.
Yes.
So we covered few topics: single and smiling, communication and conflict resolution, attachment styles, and our core values. They were really interested in those things, because this is something, when you don't have core value, you don't know what you're looking for. You don't even know what your life is all about, and you don't know what you're looking for. And then I remember Debbie shared her perspective and I shared my perspective, and then she shared that she has written down all the core values that she wants to see in a husband. And I said, I didn't write down exactly that way, but I had it all here. I knew exactly what I wanted. I didn't share it with anyone, but I knew what I exactly wanted. And then there's a staff that came, and he said that, hey, I'm really glad that you shared that Debbie wrote down everything. You did not write, you knew what you wanted, because that is how I am, and I know what I want, and it actually encouraged me to, okay, I can move forward with what I have in my mind.
It really helped for them to see the different perspectives, our different honest experiences, so they could relate in different ways. And we also share how to heal after a breakup. important tools that we can actually have and implement, and habits to develop after that, and also to recognize unhealthy behaviors, abusive, controlling, so that we can pinpoint it and walk away from it or face it without being ignorant of the impact it has, but kind of recognizing it and dealing with it accordingly. So when we were finishing, they were like, now it was getting so good and we're ending, because the week again went super, super fast, but it was so practical. Like, we would have them also write a lot of things. So it was more workshop setting, hands-on processing. So a lot of the time was doing, not just listening to a lecture, but actually questions and different areas that they had to start working on right there in class. And so we ended up with a vision board, a relationship vision board, their relationship with God, their relationship in general with others, and also their relationship with their wellness journey and their health and taking care of their body, so with their own journey, and also other goals, to put it all together in a very creative way to actually visualize what is their motto for the year and what are those main goals or aspects they want to work on in the year. So we had a blast, truly. Many of the girls were really into crafts. They brought all of their things to start putting it together, and others were like, oh, this is not really, but everyone was thinking, what are my goals for this year? What is important to me? And that was the point.
How do you feel about this?
I'm overly excited. This is. I think I overdid it.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
There's
After
still
you
hope
finish
for
it,
me.
you can say it.
Yeah.
Tomorrow or something. So what are we doing?
Yeah, what are you guys doing?
Vision board.
I'm creating a vision for my vision board.
Yeah. So far.
So, who is doing it for the year and who is doing it for a season?
For the rest of the life.
Okay.
He's overdoing
I
it.
hope I will not do it again.
Once and for all.
It's taking so much of energy.
Well, I think your wife will say opposite to that.
Yes.
Yeah. Look at all my stickers. We need to use them up one day. She will help me.
Good to have good friends. Relationship done. Use up Washington. See? For the rest of the life, because this is what we need to use it up.
Thank you.
Relationship.
Better make a new one every week to use them up. It's only 3 meters each.
Only 3 meters. Wow.
The
But
next
you
one.
can enjoy the most beautiful ones for a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
And
But some are
actually-
really ugly.
Yeah, but that's okay. You can use it to, I don't know.
Use
But
up
this one is very nice. I
Washington.
like it.
Green ones and
So that concluded the educational part for the school, the training for students and staff that joined, and then we actually move forward with the wellness program.
The wellness program, as I shared before, it is a 10-day program and they come on Sunday evening. It's a new start program. So we called it as mental fitness. It was very interesting because there is a lady that used to go to somewhere in the US. She lives in Germany, but she goes to some institution in the US for her mental health. But then that place was booked fully and she was not able to go in. But then she saw the ad for TGM saying there's going to be having mental fitness. She immediately signed up and she came to our program at TGM, and we were really super excited about that. And Debbie, do you want to share about the thing that you introduced to them?
So one of the main things we did, inspired by a book I read, Miracle Mornings, is not a Christian perspective, but it has very powerful tools. So I basically redid some points using that concept, but from a Christian perspective. So we included empowering mornings, the morning routine. So the first day we talked about the importance of morning routine, having that quiet time to meditate in God's word, to pray, to write down our gratefulness, then to think about what do I envision for the day, not just my to-do list, but I envision to have more relaxed time in the evening, or I envision to really connect with family or a friend. What are those unique things you envision? And also take some time to read something that helps you to keep growing and learning, and just not just a devotional time, and include some power exercise. So with that in mind, we introduced it. The next day we guided that process step by step, few minute each section, and then every morning from the third day till the end, they were doing it by themselves. They would bring their little journals, their pens, their Bibles, their book, and each one quietly, we would start with a song, then each one will do their part, and then we would actually end all together with exercise. So it was super, super empowering. They really enjoyed it, and it was creating a habit right there with group support, with clear guidelines, and many were like, this is exactly what I needed to learn how to start the day. So we had another evening relaxing routine, and it was just transformative and so meaningful, and they really appreciated, and the times we were there joining with them, it was super, super nice. So that was the beginning.
And also the another thing that topic that I spoke was, it is on having gratitude and leap for joy. It is taken from Luke chapter 6. It was very interesting. So I learned this from one of the pastors. I'm not able to remember his name. It's a very old sermon that he talks about leaping for joy, and how when you leap for joy, when you jump, by the time your feet hit the floor back again, you actually feel the joy in your heart. So I spoke about that. And I was wondering, because these people that came to New Start, not all of them, but half of them were really old. When I say really old, they were in their 80s. And I didn't want to do the act of jumping, because I don't want them to break any bones or cause any issues. But to my surprise, Sunday evening and Monday morning, I see one of the grandmas, she was just running up the stairs and running down the stairs. I was blown away. Okay, these people can definitely jump if I want to speak about it and do it. So I spoke about it, and at the end of the class, we would do leap for joy, and we would jump 3 times. Leap for joy, leap for joy, leap for joy. And as Debbie was sharing about the morning routine, the last part of the morning routine is to do an exercise. So whenever I would go, or actually both of us, whenever we would go, we would do the last couple minute exercise, and they would initiate leap for joy, jump for joy. And we were blown away how much energy they had, and they were willing to do it because they saw the power of the morning routine, and also they saw the power of having a good gratitude in their hearts.
It was so, so beautiful to see the perspectives change, motivation coming in, and the smiles forming as the days went by. And we also covered the importance of how to stop worrying and start living. And there's so many good resources and materials we covered, and share practical exercises on how to identify worry versus stress, and then how it leads to anxiety, and how we can practically, physically, mentally do different exercises to help us with that. That is super good, and it has helped me as well. So we are not able to share all the classes here. This is just a report and a summary from the blessings we were able to share and also received as we learned from each one of the people we met during our trip.
And some other topics that we covered was limiting versus empowering belief, negative thinking patterns. Many times we fall into this negative thinking patterns, and we don't even realize that we have those until someone points it out, until we learn about those things. So we talked about that. We talked about temple care. And then one of the things that I really also appreciated was spiritual OCD. That was the last topic I taught, and there was someone that came and told me, Martin, actually I'm so glad you spoke about this, because usually I'm scared of righteousness by faith because it is too much for me to comprehend and understand. And people always talk a lot in those things, and it just shuts me down, and I lose my focus on it. But spiritual OCD is basically righteousness by faith. And it makes so much sense for me. I'm so glad you taught about this. And not just me, there is a lot more people that need to learn about the spiritual OCD. So we saw a benefit or a positive response there as well. So we are really thankful for all those experiences as well. And of course, we did a cooking class, we did a vision board for the health as well with the guests.
So there were a lot of hands-on, a lot of also with biblical principles to deal with mental fitness and practical habits, practical things, not only theory that can help us, from exercise and leaping to writing down and reframing, so many things that are biblical principles.
Yes.
And so we truly end so recharged and empowered and motivated to keep sharing these things, because now we shared some of the blessings with that part of the world, and it's already spreading through that part of the world and beyond. And so we just pray that God will help each one of us to share what God has given us, so that we can end the work and Jesus can come, and we not only can do a lot of work, but find that freedom in our hearts from limiting beliefs, from negative things, from fear, and not live out of fear and anxiety, but out of trust and love and confidence in the Lord. So we learn a lot. We learn about kindness and love, very lovely people that we miss, and we truly hope we can meet again.
And one another point I would like to share about them, the people that work there and the students, they were really, really, really wanting to do the mission work. They were very willing to help out, and we couldn't see a single frown on their face to do the work. They were so happily doing the work. They would come clean the rooms, sing songs, happily singing Christian songs, and do the work. No one was frowning, no one was sad, disappointed, or anything. And no one was waiting for someone else to come and do the job. They took initiative and they took the responsibility to do this.
And it was the most harmonious group we've seen in a long time, in a group, like a group of 20 people and everyone being in harmony for 1 or 2 days. Okay, but a whole month that we lived with them and see that, that was something beautiful. And so we were just so blessed, and praying that God will continue to bless them and the work they're doing. And if you're interested to know about the place, also you can check TGM or Country Life Austria, part of the OCI ministries. You can find them and visit and pray for them as well.
All right, and also we will put their website in the description so you can also see it. Well, with that we will conclude this mission report, and we hope and pray that this will be an encouragement for you to spread the word, just as how it has been for us. And let's pray that Christ will come soon as we be diligent and faithful to God in spreading the message.
And remember, wherever God calls you, He will open the doors if He needs you there. So trust Him and follow His lead.